Alright, people. So, as an American citizen, it is my job, it's my duty to be a politically active person and to hold my government's feet to the fire to pay attention to what they're doing. So, as part of that responsibility, I have written a letter to John Boehner, the Speaker of the House. And yes, his name is John Boehner, people. That's how you pronounce it in German. It's John Boehner. So that's why I even spell it out, John Boehner, on the title. But I know the correct spelling is a different way, but I just wanted to spell it like that because that's how it's actually pronounced. That's not how it's spelled, but that's how it's pronounced. So John, maybe if he does better things as a true conservative should, then I'll rename it and put it as the right name. I'll still call him Boner because that's his true name. But if he starts doing good things, maybe I'll write it correctly on the YouTube title. But let me just get into the letter here, and I encourage all of you to also write to your congressmen, write to your representatives, to do good things, to do things that are for freedom and for liberty, and are for our common interest. Unlike most representatives in Congress or the president. So here's my letter to John Boehner. I would like to tell you that my family and I will continue to speak bad about you if you do not do the things you should do as Speaker of the House, which I will list in this video. I should have said letter. So there you go. I kind of proofreading here too. So I gotta fix that, which I will list in this letter. All right. I also have a YouTube channel. I should just fix that right now because I know I'll forget. Letter. I'm a dumbass like that sometimes. It's always a good idea to proofread your work. That does wonders, by the way. Just a little side note. I used to not do it. I used to, freshman year of high school, whatever. So just when I started writing, you didn't proofread it. Oh, I don't feel like it. It only takes like 10 minutes. Proofread your shit. It'll get you a lot better grade. And you'll catch a lot of errors too, because very rarely do you write a paper and you don't fuck up. You will probably fuck up at least a few times if you're writing a paper. If you're writing a big paper, definitely proofread it because you'll probably fuck up a lot of times. But that's a side issue here. I also have a YouTube channel and will speak bad about you on there if you do not do these. If you do not, I can't even fucking read. That's how much of a dumbass. I got a fucking 3.9 GPA, but I can't fucking read. So there you go, people. But I'll try to read this better. It's fucking like what, 2 o'clock in the morning. But I'm just gonna start this whole sentence over. This whole video has been a fucking disaster. I'm 3 minutes in. I've only gotten one sentence. I also have a YouTube channel and will speak bad about you on there if you do not do the things we ask of you. We ask that you are for impeaching Obama for breaking the Constitution on many instances like the NSA, executive orders, and wars. We ask that you repeal Obamacare. We ask that you are for closing the borders and are not for granting amnesty to the millions of illegals purposely let in here. We ask that you defend the Second Amendment and do not support background checks, registration, or anything that limits the Second Amendment like a ban on assault weapons. We ask that you speak out against funding ISIS through the so-called Syrian rebels, which are actually ISIS. We ask that you do not let Obama act like a dictator and speak out when he is against one of the issues I mentioned in this message. We ask that you act like a true conservative as opposed to a neoconservative who is for all these wars and not for the legalization of gay marriage and drugs. If you do all these things, or at least some of them, and act like a true conservative, my family and I will speak good things about you. Join the movement for freedom and liberty, and let's get our country back by electing liberty lovers into office. A good way to start is by impeaching Obama, promoting liberty and freedom, and doing the issues that listed above. Do these things and you will become very popular among the movement for liberty, freedom, and truth, and among the true conservatives, libertarians, constitutionalists, and Tea Partiers. So there you go, people. There's my letter to Mr. John Boehner. And hopefully, individually, I do not really make a difference individually, I guess. Just myself, but collectively, as a group of people who love liberty and patriotism, we can make a big difference if we just this only took me, 20 minutes to make. If we just take a little bit out of our day just to write to John Boehner, just a little bit to write to Mitch McConnell, to write to our senators and whatever. Just take a little bit out of your day, because it's been shown. Yes, they're, a lot of them are just puppets, but a lot of them, aren't really controlled. As like Barack Obama is like a hardcore puppet, totally a puppet for the New World Order. But the more smaller, the more local you get, the less power they have. Is usually that means they're less controlled. They're less, they're less puppets than a Barack Obama. Yes, they may be promoted by the corrupt system, but they're not, I wouldn't say controlled as much like a Barack Obama is. So if we press them enough to get them to do something, they will do it. There's been many instances where they want to get their agenda across, but we won't let them. The Second Amendment is a great example of it. Obama's wanting to take away our guns. A lot of the people want to take away our guns, but we said no, we're not taking them away. Actually, pro-gun control is at the highest, according to the polls. Gun control is now is like at the lowest point it's ever been popular among the American people. So that's failing right there. And now we got a Republican House, Republican Senate. So I'm not saying the Republicans are good, but at least they're for the Second Amendment. At least they're pro-Second Amendment. And I don't think we'll get our guns taken away. And even if they do try to take our guns away, I don't think it's going to happen, because we will not take away our guns. As Alex Jones said, 1776 will commence again if you try to take them away. And so yeah, that was my video again. Wake up, just take a little bit of time. You could even take a little bit of, just take a little bit of what I said. Make a smaller letter. I mean, mine was pretty long, I guess. I don't even know how long an average letter is supposed to be. But you only write a few sentences. It'll make a difference. It's good knowing. Even if it doesn't make a difference, it's good knowing that you are a participant in our government, in our system, in our working for change, and just working for a better society for all people. And if we all come together as one, and if we stop, playing on our phones, watching The Voice, watching The Walking Dead. I'm not saying those things are bad, but that's all people do. If that's all you do is watch The Walking Dead, watch sports, watch Sports Center all day, you have to devote some time towards being politically active. All right, because that's what really affects your life the most. If we have a free society, then okay. I mean, that should be like the number one priority. And if we get to there, then you won't have to be politically active, I guess. I mean, you should still be, but let's get a free society, so we don't have to, so we don't have to be as participatory, I guess. Because if we get the right people in charge, then we don't really have to, I don't know, I'm just going, it's in 2 o'clock in the fucking morning. Even if we do get the right people in there, we probably still have to pay attention as much to the government as we did if there were criminals in there. But still, I'm going off now. Probably should just end this fucking video and hit the fucking hay and get to bed. This video has been, I think I got a message across. Participate in your government. Send a message to John Boner. Send a message to Mitch McConnell. Whatever. Let them know that you're paying attention. Let them know that you want those things that'll promote liberty and freedom, like the Second Amendment. And we want to impeach Obama, who's clearly a criminal. Just let him know that, and maybe if we get enough people to do that, maybe he will actually be for the impeachment of Obama, or it'll come out strongly against closing the borders, because a lot of the Republicans I see aren't really, that strong about impeaching Obama. A lot of them might be strong about closing the borders, so I guess take that point back, but a lot of them aren't strong against impeaching Obama. We got to get them to impeach Obama, because that'll get the point across that you cannot act like a criminal and get away with it in America. If you act like a criminal, then you might be impeached. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts. There's my letter to John Boner. And again, write a letter to your senators and congressmen. Let them know that you are awake and paying attention. And if they don't do what you want, then you will speak out against them. So there you go, people.